welcome back to the vlog and welcome to a very exciting video as part of my DC moving series. I have always wanted to film one of these videos. They're some of my favorite videos to watch and I am so excited that I'm finally getting to do one. So in this video we are going to be doing apartment hunting in Washington DC for my first ever big girl apartment. If you guys are new here or if you missed my announcement, hello and welcome. My name is Charlotte. I'm a post-grad lifestyle and productivity vlogger here on YouTube and I recently moved down to Washington DC to kickstart my big girl life post-college. In this video we're going to be going through all of the apartments that I toured down here in Washington DC, and at the very end I'm going to be showing you guys which one I ultimately picked. So without any further ado, let's jump right in to everything that I was looking for in my first apartment. Alright, so obviously to start off I am moving down to Washington DC, so that is where all of the apartments that I'm touring are located. I was deciding between a couple of different neighborhoods, but ultimately I decided I wanted to be down by the waterfront. It's a very up and coming area. There's a lot of people my age, and that was a big factor for me when I decided to move to DC, was coming down to be around people more my age, more like my peers. So ultimately I decided that the waterfront was going to be the best location for me personally. So that includes the Wharf neighborhoods and Navy Yard. So for my budget, I want to be transparent in this video and talk about all the prices that are included on all of the apartments that I'm touring. DC is a very expensive city. It's one of the most expensive cities in the US right now. The cost of living is astronomical down here, and rent prices are pretty close to what you'd find in even bigger cities like New York or LA. I'm also moving down here by myself, so I was only going to be one person paying the rent and the utilities and whatever extra costs there would be associated with my apartment. So it was really important for me to stick within my budget. So ultimately the budget I decided on was staying under $2,300 a month, which is very expensive, and it definitely took me a little bit of adjusting to kind of get used to that number, but ultimately that is a pretty fair number for the area that I'm in and for DC in general. I really couldn't find any buildings that fit what I was looking for under that price point. In this video, I'm just going to be talking about the base rent prices for all of these units, not calculating utilities or parking because that really varies per building. So the base rent budget that I was trying to stick to was $2,300 a month. So I moved down here alone, so I was looking for a 1-bedroom or a studio apartment. Some of the other things that I considered my non-negotiables. Number one, I needed to be in a safe area, especially because I'm a young woman living by myself. I am just not interested in feeling unsafe or feeling uncomfortable at all, especially if this is going to be my home. I just did not want to have any questions about whether I was going to be safe in the area that I was living in. In addition to the general neighborhood being safe, I also really wanted my building to have safety features, either a doorman or a 24-hour front desk attendant, secure access like key fob entry, key fob elevators, obviously secure units, and a secure mail system were some of the safety features in the individual buildings that I was looking for. So safety was really my top concern. It was the number one thing on my mind at all times. Outside of safety, I had a couple other things that I was looking for. Big windows and natural light were really high up on my list for two reasons. Number one, YouTube is a full-time job for me and it really requires good lighting to have high quality videos, and I'm just a big natural light person. I hate overhead lighting. I do also sometimes struggle with seasonal depression, so it was really important to me to have a lot of natural sunlight coming into my apartment. It just makes me happy, it makes me feel better, and overall I just feel like my experience is better when I'm in a space that has lots of natural light and big windows. I was also looking for in-unit laundry. This was a really big thing for me. Both of my college apartments had in-unit washer and dryers, and it just makes such a big difference. Another important thing for me was storage space. If you guys have seen any of my moving in or moving out vlogs in the past, you know that I'm a habitual overpacker. I have a lot of things. I have a lot of stuff. No matter how hard I try and convince myself that I don't have that much stuff, I definitely do have that much stuff, so storage space was really important for me. And then the last two things on my non-negotiables list were about transportation. I needed an apartment that had parking available. Again, I did bring my car down with me, so I needed a place to park it, and my car is brand new, so I wanted to protect it as long as I could. So I was definitely looking for an apartment with garage parking rather than street parking. And lastly, I wanted to be close to public transit like metro stops and bus stations. I do have my car like I've mentioned, but I also want to be able to make use of public transit. I think my car is going to be more for going out into Maryland or Virginia, which are the close surrounding states to DC, for running errands or getting groceries. But for traveling back and forth, like commuting to work, I think it's going to be way more convenient, especially with DC traffic, to use public transportation. kitchen. So that is pretty much everything that I had in mind while I was looking around for these apartments. I ended up finding 7 apartments that fit my criteria and that I ended up touring. And without any further ado, let's jump right in and I'll walk you guys through all 7 of the apartments that I toured. All right, up first we have apartment number 1. This was a junior 1-bedroom unit, 564 square feet, and a base rent of $2,200 a month. But the complex was running a 2-week rent-free special if you applied by a certain date. So if you take the special into account, my prorated rent every month would have been $2,110. First up, the pros and the things that I really liked about this apartment. It had a very, very cute kitchen. I absolutely loved the look of the kitchen, the sleek white cabinetry, the nice countertops, and I loved the blue tile backsplash. There was lots of cabinet space and lots of counter space in this kitchen. This apartment also had a pretty spacious floor plan with a very open concept living room and kitchen, and it had gorgeous floor to ceiling windows. Pretty much the entire back wall was made up of windows, so we were getting lots of natural light, lots of sunlight in this apartment, and the windows open to get some fresh air, which I only mentioned because in my college apartment that I moved out of last spring, the windows didn't open. So that's not something that I typically think about until you've been in a place that doesn't have windows that open, but the windows do open in this apartment, which I really liked. Like I mentioned, this is a junior 1-bedroom, so it did have a separate bedroom sleeping area, but it didn't have a window to the outside. That's pretty much what junior 1-bedroom means. The bedroom did have a window into the hallway, sort of into the living room, but again, it didn't have a window into the outside. It had a pretty spacious closet in the bedroom, and then also a very nice sleek bathroom. Some of the cons about this unit that I didn't like: the bedroom got absolutely zero natural light. Even though it did have that window into the hallway, it didn't face the windows to the outside, so you really weren't getting any light coming into the bedroom. And it also didn't have an overhead light, so it was very, very dark in the bedroom. Also, even though it had lots of windows in the living room, they faced north, which if you guys aren't psychotic about windows like I am, you may not know that north-facing windows get the least amount of light during the day. Also, another thing about the windows in this apartment, the building was shaped like a U, and the unit that I toured was sort of in the middle part of the U. So from my window, you could see into other units, which means from those other units, you could also see into my unit. And that felt a little bit creepy knowing that anyone anywhere else in the building could look into my apartment at anytime. So that was definitely a drawback, especially because the windows are so beautiful. This unit also didn't have a ton of closet space. It had some good space in the bedroom, and then it had a hallway closet, but neither of the closets were super spacious. In the bathroom, the shower was really nice, but the sink didn't have a vanity. Again, something you might not notice at first glance, but in my previous college apartment, my sink didn't have a vanity. It was literally just a sink attached to the wall, and it was a big pain in the butt because I didn't have anywhere to put all of my things. So that was definitely something about this apartment that I didn't love. I wanted something that had a little more counter space and some under sink storage in the bathroom. So those are the pros and cons of the unit. For the building in general, it had some really nice amenities, including 24/7 concierge service at the front desk, which means there was always someone sitting in the lobby making sure that people weren't coming in and out of the building that weren't supposed to be there. They also had a really nice resident lounge that had an indoor space and an outdoor patio space. It had a pretty nice gym with machines and space for free weights, as well as secure key fob entry and a secure mailroom. One con about the building was that parking wouldn't be available for 2 or 3 months minimum. They do have a parking garage, but they didn't have any available spaces. So I would have had to either park my car somewhere in a complex, like in a parking garage, or try to find street parking. So that was definitely a drawback for me. Moving on to the next apartment. Apartment 2, 3, and 4 are all actually in the same building. So I'll go over the features of the building first, and then we'll get into the individual units. I absolutely loved the lobby of this building. It was very bright and very open, very inviting. It had a lot of similar amenities to apartment number 1 within the building. 24/7 concierge at the front desk, so there would always be someone there any time of day to receive packages, answer any questions, or check people in and out. Just make sure that the building was safe safe at all hours. It also had a secure key fob entry into the building, into the elevators, and into all the units, which was really nice, made me feel really secure. They also have a secure mailroom and a secure package delivery system, which is really nice, so you don't have to worry about any of your packages getting stolen. This building also has a really nice indoor resident lounge and 2 rooftop patios, which is amazing. And from the penthouse rooftop patio, you can see both the Washington Monument and the Capitol, which is really cool. This building also had a built-in gym. It was a little bit on the smaller side, so they had lots of machines, but there wasn't a ton of space for free weights or Pilates or any kind of like body weight exercises. But the building was in a very safe neighborhood. It was very walkable and it was super close to public transit. Now onto the 3 units that I toured in this building. First up, we have apartment number 2. This was the only studio that I toured out of all the apartments. So it was a studio unit, 465 square feet with a base rent of $2,100. So again, starting off with the things that I really liked about this apartment, it had lots of natural light, really nice big windows. You would get a lot of sunlight coming in. I really liked that it was an open concept, so the kitchen really flowed into the living area. It had really nice unit amenities, including upgraded appliances in the kitchen and an in-unit washer and dryer, which, as we all know, is very important to me. It also had a pretty decent sized closet in the hallway next to the washer and dryer, so it had good storage space. Some of the cons of this unit, it was very, very small. It was just over 450 square feet, so I felt even while I was in there that it would be really, really cramped once I put all my furniture in. This apartment also had east-facing windows, which meant it would get really, really nice sunlight in the mornings when the sun is rising, but throughout the rest of the day, the sunlight wouldn't be that great. But overall, a really, really nice unit for a studio. Next up, we have apartment number 3. This was a 1-bedroom unit in the same building as apartment number 2. So this was a junior 1-bedroom unit, which again means there's no window to the outside in the bedroom. It was 635 square feet and the base rent was $2,280. So this apartment had a very similar vibe to the studio apartment that I toured. It got lots of natural light. I absolutely loved the big windows. These windows also faced west, so I would get much better light throughout the day. And in addition to the windows, this unit also had a balcony, which is so cool. A balcony wasn't something that I was actively looking for, but I do think it would be a really cool thing to have, just to be able to step out and get some fresh air whenever you want without having to leave your apartment. I loved the open concept layout of this apartment. I thought it was very spacious. I could picture the different ways that I would decorate it in my mind. And I loved that the kitchen kind of flowed into the living room, so you wouldn't have to spend too much time sectioning off like this is the kitchen or this is the living room. This unit has sort of like a utility hallway where you've got all of your utility closets lined right up, including in-unit washer and dryer and a very spacious broom closet slash coat closet. And speaking of storage space, this unit had absolutely amazing storage space, including that hallway closet, a double closet in the bedroom, and a little broom closet slash towel closet in the bathroom. I loved the bathroom in this unit, especially the bathroom vanity. Again, you guys know I was looking for counter space and a vanity in the bathroom with some storage under the sink. It also had a really nice combination shower and bathtub, and the mirror in this bathroom lights up, which I've never seen before, but I thought was very, very cool. Some of the cons to this unit that I didn't like as much, I didn't love that the door opened right into a hallway. It just didn't feel super inviting. I also didn't love that this was a junior 1-bedroom, so there wasn't a window facing the outside in the bedroom. However, I do really like the solution that they had in this apartment. The door to the bedroom faces the windows to the outside and has a frosted glass panel, so even when the door is closed, you're still getting any natural light that's coming in through the living room, and you get even more when the door is open. The last thing I didn't love about this apartment was that the windows didn't open. It was only the balcony door that opened. So if you're like me and you burn a lot of things while you're cooking because you're just a terrible cook, you couldn't just crack a window. You'd have to open the entire door to the balcony just to get a little bit of fresh air in the apartment. Moving on to apartment number 4, this is the last of the 3 apartments that I toured in the same building. This unit was actually very similar to the other 1-bedroom that I toured. This was another junior 1-bedroom unit. This was 650 square feet, so a little bit bigger than the other 1-bedroom. and it had a base rent of $22.50. So it was also a little bit less expensive than the other one bedroom that I toured. So like I mentioned, this apartment was very, very similar to the other one bedroom that I toured. There were only a few differences. This apartment was a full square, whereas the other junior one bedroom that I toured in this building had kind of like slanted walls on the window side. Like I mentioned, this apartment was a little bit bigger than the other one bedroom, so you were getting about 20 more square feet. And whereas the other one bedroom had sliding door closets, this had a walk-in closet, which was really cool. Still had in-unit washer and dryer, upgraded appliances, a really nice kitchen, and a really nice open concept layout. So again, it was very similar to the other junior one bedroom that I toured in this building. Some of the cons about this apartment that I didn't love as much, it had the same issue as the other junior one bedroom where it didn't have a window to the outside, but it did have the same solution with that frosted glass door that faces the windows to the outside, so you're still getting that good natural light. Unlike the other junior one bedroom that I toured, this unit did not have a balcony, but it did have windows that opened. And despite the walk-in closet in the bedroom, I felt like this unit actually had less storage space than the other junior one bedroom. The hallway closet in this apartment was much smaller than the hallway closet in apartment number 3, and the walk-in closet was definitely awesome, but I think it was a little bit smaller than the other one bedroom. Moving on to apartment number 5, we are moving to a different building now. This was a 660 square foot one bedroom unit with a base rent of $2,550. So right off the bat, this unit was pushing my price range. It was above my budget by about $200, but this unit did have a lot of things that I absolutely loved. Starting off, the building had some really nice amenities. The building itself had a very modern vibe. It felt very luxurious and upgraded. This building had an absolutely gorgeous 2-story fitness center, including an entire separate studio for yoga and Pilates. The building also offered exercise classes in this room that you could take from the comfort of your own apartment, which is very, very cool. They also had a very nice resident lounge with a conference room that you could rent out, a separate quiet space if you were doing any kind of homework or, quiet work that you needed to do on your own. It also had an outdoor rooftop space with grills and patio space that you could rent out for any important or special occasions. For the actual unit itself, I toured again a 1-bedroom. This unit was actually a corner unit, so you had basically 2 full walls of floor-to-ceiling windows in the kitchen and living area, which was amazing. It got so much natural light. It was very bright and open feeling in the space. The kitchen was absolutely gorgeous. It had lots of countertop space and lots of cabinet space, upgraded appliances, fridge, dishwasher, oven, stove, microwave. All of the units that I toured had all of those things, but these ones just looked extra luxurious for some reason. This unit also had a separate bedroom with a separate window, so this was like a full 1-bedroom, whereas some of the other units that I toured were those junior 1-bedroom ideas. Bedroom was also pretty spacious and had a pretty decent sized closet as well. The bathroom in this unit was absolutely amazing. It felt like I was at a spa. It had a walk-in glass door shower and a really, really nice vanity. This unit also had a coat closet right at the entryway, so there was plenty of storage space and a separate closet for an in-unit washer and dryer. Now, while I did love this unit, there were some drawbacks and some cons that I didn't love as much. First of all, the unit that I toured was on the 2nd floor of this building, so anyone on the street could see right into my unit. As my dad and I were walking by this building on our way to go in, we could see into the unit that we ended up touring from the street. So it wasn't even me just speculating, like anybody on the sidewalk or in a car driving by this building could see directly into my unit. And as much as I love windows, this apartment might have gone overboard with the windows. It did get a ton of natural light, like I said, but it did kind of end up feeling like I was in a fishbowl. So I don't know, I felt a little bit like I would be a creature in a zoo. Like I mentioned, anyone could see into my unit, see what was going on, and I could pretty much make eye contact with people on the street. Another issue with the windows in this apartment was that there's a parking garage attached to the underside of this building, and the neon sign for the parking garage that indicated how many spots were available was placed right in between the living room windows and the bedroom windows of this unit. So I would have a neon sign streaming into my living room and my bedroom 24 hours a day, every single day, which I didn't love. That didn't really seem like something that I would enjoy all that much, which is unfortunate because it had such lovely windows. Last up, we have apartment 6 and apartment 7. These two were two different units within the same complex. First up, for the complex itself, it had some really nice amenities, including secure access into the building, secure elevators, secure mailroom, and 24/7 front desk staff, so it did feel like there were a lot of security features within the building. Additionally, they had a really nice 2-story gym, which was really cool. This complex also had a lot of interesting community rooms like conference rooms and study rooms, and of course resident lounges. So it really felt like a nice, like, welcoming building where you could spend a lot of time in the building without being in your actual unit. Additionally, this complex also had a floor level patio to the outside with a little courtyard, as well as a rooftop patio which had a 360-degree view of the city, so you could see the monuments, you could see the Capitol, you could even see Reagan International Airport, so you could watch all the planes take off if you wanted, which was super cool. Now onto the actual units themselves. First up, we have apartment number 6. This was a full 1-bedroom unit with 565 square feet and a base rent of $2,310 a month. However, at the time they were having a rent special, so you could get 1 month off of your rent and have all of your application fees waived. So my prorated rent, adjusted with all the specials and everything, would be $2,120 a month. First up, the things that I really liked about this apartment, as always, it had really nice windows. So the unit itself felt like it got some pretty decent natural light. And in addition to the windows in the living room and the kitchen area, there was also a window in the bedroom, which was a huge pro for me. The kitchen in this unit was pretty nice, although it did feel a little bit small. There was some pretty good storage space in this apartment. There was a walk-in closet in the bedroom and a hall closet, in addition to an in-unit washer and dryer, of course. So it did feel like there was a lot of storage space in this unit, which I did really appreciate. It also had a pretty nice bathroom with a nice shower and a nice vanity. Some of the cons about this unit that I didn't love: the living area of this space, like the kitchen and living room, was really oddly shaped. There was sort of a weird little cutout on the far side next to where my bedroom would be. The space itself just didn't feel like it was laid out super well, in my opinion. Like, the kitchen and the living room felt really like cramped and kind of skinny. And it was also on the higher end of my budget, but it did have that prorated rent special, so that got it down a little bit. Alright, and the last apartment that I toured in my DC apartment hunt was apartment number 7. Again, this was another unit in the same building as apartment number 6. This was a junior 1-bedroom unit with 600 square feet and a base rent of $2,195, but with the same rent special as apartment number 6, it would have come down to $2,010 a month, adjusted with all of the rent specials and everything. So the pros for this apartment: it did have really nice windows, arguably nicer windows than the other unit in the same building. There was lots of natural light in the living room, and the windows did open, which was really nice. The kitchen was really nice and came with a movable island, so there was some extra cabinet space and counter space that came with the apartment, which was really nice. I liked the layout of this apartment a lot better. The living space just made a lot more sense to me. It seemed like there was more space for a couch, a TV, a dining table, that kind of thing. This apartment also had a pretty large bedroom with a walk-in closet, which was really cool. The closet was enormous in this unit, and the closet actually had the washer and dryer in it, which made a lot of sense to me once I saw it, because I figured most of the time you're washing your clothes, so it might as well make sense to have your washer and dryer right in your closet. So I thought that was really cool, a very nice touch. It also had a Jack and Jill style bathroom, similar to some of the other apartments that I toured in this video, where it had one door that opened into your bedroom and one door that opened into the hallway. The bathroom itself was pretty nice. It had, again, a nice shower, a nice vanity, although the power wasn't on in this unit when we toured, so it was a little bit dark and hard to see. Now on to the cons and the things that I did not like about this apartment. First up, you guys know what I'm gonna say. Because this was a junior 1-bedroom, there was very, very little natural light coming into the bedroom. There was a tiny, like, skinny little window up at the top that faced into the living room and faced the same direction as the windows to the outside, but it was on the opposite wall of the kitchen, and because the window was so skinny, I mean, it couldn't have been taller than like 6 inches. It really didn't do anything, and there still wasn't pretty much any natural light coming into the bedroom. I also didn't like that the bedroom was in the hallway. So the layout of this unit was that you open the front door and you walk down this long hallway to get to the kitchen and the living room space, and the only entry into the bedroom was on that hallway, which for me just felt kind of cramped and crowded, and it didn't really feel all that inviting, even though the bedroom itself was pretty spacious. Lastly, this is something that I almost didn't notice, but I noticed right as we were leaving this unit to end our tour. The HVAC system system for the entire floor in this apartment complex was right outside the front door to my unit. So while you were in the unit, you could hear the HVAC system in the hallway at all times. So I'm sure it would fade into the background after a while and you wouldn't notice it after living there for a little while, but it was something that I noticed, and once I noticed it, I couldn't really unhear it. So that was a drawback. And the last thing about apartment number 6 and apartment number 7 that I didn't love, while the building itself had a lot of safety features, the surrounding area around this complex didn't feel all that safe to me. I never felt unsafe at any point, but I never felt 100% at ease while I was walking around the surrounding area of this complex. So that was something that I had in the back of my mind the entire time that I was touring there as well. So those are all 7 of the apartments that I toured down in Washington, D.C. There were so many amazing options, and I'm sure I would have been happy in any of these 7 apartments, but ultimately for me the decision was pretty easy. There was one unit out of the 7 that I toured that I absolutely fell in love with and knew that I wanted pretty much right away. I actually ended up applying for this unit the day after I toured it, before I had even finished touring some of the other apartments. And that is the apartment that I'm currently in. So think of your final guesses in your mind. And without any further ado, the apartment that I chose is apartment number 3. I fell in love with this unit. It was absolutely perfect. I could just picture myself here right away. It felt like home right away. I loved the windows. I loved the balcony. I loved the view. I loved the open floor plan. I just loved everything about this apartment. Even the things that I didn't love right off the bat, like the bedroom not having a window or the big hallway right as you enter the apartment, just didn't matter as much as the things that I loved about this unit. It had literally every single thing that I was looking for. It checked all of my boxes. It met all of my criteria. And I have been living here for just over 2 weeks at this point, and I've loved every single second of it. I am so happy with my choice. I love my apartment, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys guessed correctly or if you thought I was gonna go with a different unit. I do want to say a quick disclaimer. If you guys do find out the location of the complex that I'm living in, please keep that information private for my sake and my safety. I love being able to share my life with you guys online, but my safety is my #1 priority and my top concern. So again, if for whatever reason you already know or you found out what apartment complex I'm living in, again, just please keep that information to yourself. I want to be able to continue making videos for you guys and sharing my life, but I can only do that if I know that I feel safe. So please just keep that in mind going forward with all of the moving content that I'm about to be posting. But I really hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me as I apartment hunted in Washington, D.C. It was so much fun. I am so glad that I was able to film this video and come tour these apartments in person. I was really nervous that I was going to have to find a place online and move in sight unseen, but a big shout out and thank you to my dad for flying down to Washington, D.C. with me on a whim and touring all of these places with me. And also a shout out and thank you to our family friend Steph for hosting my dad and I when we came down and for touring all of these units with us. She was such a big help as a DC native. I could not have found this place without you, Steph, so thank you so much. I'll be posting my empty apartment tour as my next video after this video goes live, so you guys will be able to see a more in-depth tour of what this unit looks like and the features that it has and where I'm thinking of putting all my furniture and everything like that. And after the empty apartment tour, we are going to have all of my move-in vlogs. I'm going to have 3 at this point, but there might end up being a 4th, who knows. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on my post notifications to make sure you don't miss any of my moving content. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it for me down below as well. But that is gonna be it for this one. I really hope you guys enjoyed coming along and apartment hunting with me. I cannot wait for this chapter of my life, and I'm so glad to have finally found my home down here in DC. I can't wait for you guys to see what it looks like. But that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.
So let us dance
Bye,
this
guys.
night away.